Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that takes the lead in today's edition for Tuesday, 14th May 2024, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Police in Trinidad and Tobago make discovery of suspected gang-related installed surveillance cameras in the Northern Division's district. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Police Association President Gideon Dixon says the membership is gravely concerned by the Northern Division's recent discovery of surveillance equipment in the district said to have been installed by criminal entities. TV6's Ranissa Cutting reports out of Port of Spain.
With the discovery of an illegal camera surveillance network operated by criminal elements to monitor police, President of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service Social and Welfare Association, Gideon Dixon, is describing the find as gravely concerning. The discovery was made after Northern Division officers acted on information received from a member of the public.
Other members of the public who might have information that could assist us in our bid to rid our streets, our nation, and communities of illegal cameras that are in fact monitoring not just the police movements, but also safeguarding the places and spaces that these criminal enterprise would want to flourish. So, against that backdrop, it is of grave concern, but it is, in fact, we appreciate the information that we would have gotten and could have acted upon it. And it will not dawn to our officers from doing what needs to be done.
Dixon says he's optimistic that the ongoing investigation will yield arrest soon.
The subsequent investigation will also be able to weed out who are the persons behind these cameras and hopefully bring them to justice in the shortest possible time.
Is there information to suggest that these surveillance cameras and other infrastructure are also in other divisions across the country?
Well, we cannot take anything for granted. This one in neighbor house on fire with yours, I think is an eye-opener for us. So we should not rest. We should do the necessary checks with TNTech. We should do the necessary checks with all stakeholders who provide that level of service so that we'll be able to rid the nation's streets of anything of that nature.
Meantime, Opposition Shadow National Security Minister Dr. Rudal Munilal is describing the discovery as surreal.
It may be possible that this type of activity can be taking place at other police stations as well. It may be possible that the criminal elements also have the courthouses and buildings belonging to the judiciary and the DPP under surveillance to check which witnesses are going, which witnesses are coming, the movements of police officers and the identity of critical persons involved in criminal trials and so on. So this is an extremely surreal, unbelievable development.
Dr. Munila believes TNTech may also have some questions to answer, but he notes that it is the Ministry of National Security which is responsible for the installation of the state's surveillance infrastructure.
Regrettably, at this time, we have heard nothing from the Minister Hines or the Commissioner, Ms. Haywood Christopher, on this matter. And I call for a full investigation and inventory of all cameras and equipment in the public spaces to ensure that this is not more rampant than it is, as dangerous and sinister as this development can be.
Both the National Security Minister and the Commissioner of Police attended the TTPS Sports Day today, but did not speak with the media. Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
A person caught tampering with facilities at the Ministry of Finance has been charged with malicious damage and remanded into custody. More in this TTT News item.
According to a media release from the Ministry of Finance on April 30th, 2024, an individual gained unauthorized access to the top floor of the Ministry of Finance head office building at the Eric Williams Financial Complex by pretending to be a member of an exterior building cleaning team. Finance says suspicion arose later in the day when CCTV technicians and maintenance staff detected serious water leakage at the top levels of the Ministry of Finance building, leading to interception and detention of the individual. A gauge and valve taken from a pump line were found on the individual, together with other items of a suspicious nature. Police officers charged the individual with malicious damage and he was remanded into custody. The Ministry of Finance says if the person had not been caught, this would have caused the water tanks to run dry and a malfunction of the chillers for the air conditioning system, resulting in a building shutdown.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
A High Court judge in Trinidad and Tobago, Justice Westman James, said he's in support of constitutional reform, noting that the 1976 Constitution is in desperate need of modernizing. Sunil Lala reports.
High Court Judge Justice Westman James said while some countries like Jamaica have been successful in reforming their constitution, there have been failed attempts by many countries to do so. Speaking at a youth forum on constitutional reform, he said it is a difficult process to undergo.
You have to use special procedures in order to change certain parts of the Constitution. You need special majorities of Parliament to change some parts of our Constitution, as much as 3/5 majority of both houses for some parts of our Constitution. Unlike other countries, Trinidad and Tobago's Constitution doesn't require a referendum, which is that it has to go to the public and you have to vote to determine whether or not a Constitution can be changed.
But Justice James spoke about the importance of constitutional reform in modern-day society, especially since every sector of society can input their views and recommendations.
Since Republican status is over 50 years, and it very well needs modernizing. It also doesn't recognize all people within our settings. The public didn't have much of a say. Now the public has a say how you would like to be governed.
And a participant at the Trinidad Youth Forum noted the importance of having the voice of youths being heard.
What stood out to me is that the Constitution is not perfect at all, and it is something that needs desperate work on change. We need more of the youth's voices and opinions definitely included in it, but it's something that is capable of being reformed in a way that will reflect the concerns and needs of the youth in Trinidad.
Justice James said in some countries the Constitution uses plain language rather than legalese, and noted whether this may be necessary for the general public to properly understand the document.
We must, as the people, must be able to read and understand it. Should we write it in the way in which it is that we do understand? Most young persons, most people don't know half the things that me as a judge say sometimes, right? Much less a document which is also political in nature to have all of these legalese, all right? There are constitutions around the world where they will use plain language to ensure that people understand what the Constitution says.
The Youth Forum on Constitutional Reform took place at the Parliament Building on Saturday. Sonolala, TTT News.
The opposition leader in the Bahamas accused of parliamentary theatrics. More in the ZNS News item.
A National Security Minister, the Honourable Wayne Munro, openly accusing opposition leader Michael Pintard of conducting a cynical exercise in Parliament Wednesday as he sought answers from the government about a number of national issues. Some of the questions admittedly date as far back as last October. Munro, the Speaker at today's Office of the Prime Minister weekly briefing, reasoned that the questions asked required input from the technocrats.
I've been asked to basically disclose what the security arrangement is for our borders. And so, as you may imagine, the technocrats can produce a full document that sets it all out. Some of it will relate to sensitive material from our partners, and you would have to get clearance from them to disclose it. Some of it you wouldn't disclose for tactical reasons and national security reasons, and you'd have to take an assessment over that. And so the technical folks will have to do their work and produce a product for me. That's the case across all of the questions for all of the ministers.
Monroe insists the government will remain focused.
Yesterday, there were questions to the Prime Minister. They basically were tabled in February of this year. They require involvement from the staff of the Ministry of Finance, the leader of the opposition, who has been in government previously, would know what time of year this is. This is preparation for the budget. And so he would have been well aware when he tabled the questions that the folk in the Ministry of Finance would be engaged in the budget preparation.
Jamaica's new police commissioner targeting gang recruiters. Anthony Lugg of TVJ News tells us more.
As quickly as gangs lose members due to violence, there appears to be constant recruitment, with school-aged children being lured into criminal activities. Police Commissioner Dr. Kevin Blake says the police are on a mission to change that.
You know, those persons who seek to recruit young children into gangs, we have to remove those threat forces, and that is part of our strategy and our effort.
Just yesterday, it was revealed that one of the 4 alleged gang members killed in a gun battle with the police was 17-year-old. His sister told TVJ News she was worried about his associates, some of whom were also killed Tuesday night. While not speaking specifically to that incident, Dr. Blake gave this assurance to the nation.
We have to save the children because they are the future, and it is not a cliche. These are the persons who will be leaders of tomorrow. So we have to protect them. We have to ensure that they get the space to learn and to operate as children. And we are committed to do so.
In addition to students being recruited by gang members, the resurgence of violence in schools have triggered outcry from various stakeholders across the country. On Wednesday, Education Minister Favour Williams detailed the plan to tackle the issue, which appears to be widespread, including in parishes like Clarendon. For Justice Minister Delroy Chuck,
we need to rescue our children from the damaging and negative influences within their homes, their neighborhoods, and other public spaces. Our children require a more wholesome environment to study and grow. And I appeal to our justices of the peace to assist in this process.
They were speaking at the installation ceremony for Custos Rotolorum of Clarendon, Edith Chin, on Thursday.
It is our efforts together through various local committees and initiatives that will make our parish more resilient and our residents thrive.
Anthony Lugg, TVJ News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.